A good HR manager needs to be innovative, research-based working has to be there, and he needs to have those what you call proprietary interests in the manpower that he has.
So India 3.0 produced many managers, but Bharat 4.0 needs more leaders. So the grouping will also change based on the need from one term to another term.
Yeah. No, we are not working well. What is not going well? Why are we not becoming a team?
And then this learnings here in IRE program and the work experience that they get in the corporates will come in very, very handy when they become entrepreneurs at the age of 40, 45.
Hello and welcome back everyone to the latest episode of IRE Talks Podcast powered by GIBS Business School. I am Palak Bansal, your host, and today we have the fire team with us, that is Faculties of IRE School, to help us dissect the IRE School and the mystery of it every Friday, what happens here in GIBS campus. So we have with us today Professor Hari Prakash, Professor Parthasin and Professor Bharath Gopalan. It is no-brainer that the success of any project or initiative such as IRE School depends largely on the people behind it. And so, before we get into the details of what IRE School is, what it does and how it functions, first let me get into the details of what our faculties do and what backgrounds they are from. So we'll start with Bharath Gopalan sir. BG sir. Now, you have a very diverse career. You have worked with the corporates like RBI, RAMCO, BARC and so many other companies, and you've also authored a book. So, how did it appear to you that you want to enter academia? How has it been for you and what was the journey like?
Okay, thank you Palak first for inviting us for the IRE podcast today. If I have to sum up or concise my career of more than over 3 decades into a couple of minutes, it could be a tough call for me. Yet, I would put it in broadly 3 phases of my career, which has culminated here in GIBS BSchool, and being a part of this fire team or the Faculty of IRE team is really exciting and interesting. The journey, I think, is a natural and logical culmination of whatever I have been doing for the last 3 or 3.5 decades. If I have to, as I said, 3 phases, I would say initial phase has been a learning the rope phase, where I had been with an institution like BRC, Bob Atomic Research Center, where really physics came to life. All the things that I read in physics was abstract. When you talk of subatomic particles or neutron generators like Van de Graaff, but when I got into BRC, I could see them in reality. Tall towers of neutron generators or atomic reactors, all these are real. Maybe that is where the connect that happened. And again, when we come to IRE, we are trying to do the same thing. Maybe they would be able to connect many of the things when they get into a career and see these are all realities that are happening. That was the first phase. And second phase, I had accidentally, I still call myself an accidental trainer when I was with RBI, Reserve Bank of India's New Note Press projects. I was one of the first 20 people to be selected by IBPS Banking Selection Personnel Selection Board. And when I was there, it is again a new project. I was handling a new project in BRC, which is about isotope separation. In the second phase, it is about a new project on New Note Press. Reserve Bank was for the first time coming up with a currency note printing project, which is today one of the best printing presses in all over the world compared to even the American banknote printing, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing at United States, which print dollars. And these two nationally vital projects of atomic research and the RBI had made me discover myself in terms of innovating, because it is all about doing for the first time, so it is part of innovation and taking ownership and responsibility. And you don't succeed on the first time. You have to have resilience to try again and improve the processes, improve the systems. It was an ongoing journey. And luckily I should say my life has been, I have been good to have such career in my life that wherever there is a saturation, I could immediately jump to a new area and start working on it. The third phase was with Hyundai Motors or Bharat Fridge Burner or Ramco Siemens, all are in HR and training and development, because Reserve Bank gave me a lot of ammunition in terms of preparing myself for taking up a learning and development career. I'm one of the national resource persons for running the program, certified by Government of India for running a program on training the trainers of Government of India. These are the few things, but coming to GIBS, all this, or the fruit of all this is being, what should I say, reaped. Rather than saying reaped, I am able to contribute immensely through this IRE program to the youngsters who want to become entrepreneurs or intrapreneurs. That's the way I would put it.
Thank you so much, BG sir. And I think you had a great career journey like both of our professors here. Coming to you, Hari sir, you have been the dashing, lively personality of GIBS. And I have read through your profile and I came across that you're the second rank holder in the Karnataka University in your learning years. And then, you went on, worked with CEAT, MRF, GILLETTE, Valvoline, and all these top-end companies. So how did education happen to you? When did it occur that you want to be a part of the education industry?
Like BG sir said, I am also an accidental, what you call professor today. But my career journey before, I got into MRF. I don't know how I got a second rank in business school when I did my MBA. That also can be termed it as an accident. But I always thought a rank in a university actually puts a tremendous responsibility on you to deliver as you go on in life.
Yes.
And thankfully, that also instilled the value of eternal learning for me. And again, thankfully, I got into companies like MRF, CEAT, or TATA Group. All these companies are institutions in their own right. And you have the advantage of working with extremely great bosses who actually are professors every day, teachers every day. They teach you how to manage. You also get some bosses who teach you how not to manage also. All that is fine. But I think this journey of 3.5 decades in companies like MRF or Tata or Valvoline and MNC, you get to see so many best practices that organizations which are successful do. And when we get into academics, all these things come as flashing and fleeting memories, and then you bring to the classroom. I always thought being a professional, especially in sales and marketing, you travel, you see places, you understand cultures, and that should be brought to the classrooms. And I think this thought actually came sometime when I was, I don't want to disclose my age, but sometime around 2015-16, I had this opportunity of visiting American universities whenever Valvoline had this national conferences, international conferences in US. So I used to go to the US universities and teach corporate ethics, not so much my core marketing subject. And that's how this connect with the institutions and business schools started. As I was closing my career in Valvoline, I thought it's not a bad idea to share some good time with students, and then whatever little you have learned over the last 3.5 years, you can bring it to the classrooms. I think some of the institutions like Tata or MRF, or for that matter, a US MNC or an MNC like Gillette, what they teach is not just managing for success or managing for revenues and profit. They also teach you how to live life. I think that those learnings are something which I think as professionals we can bring into this classroom of IRE. When we say IRE, we talk about innovations. I take the part of innovation here. So what all innovations that have helped those companies, they come as, again, memories, and then we quote as examples, and then of course there is a standard curriculum, but we interspread it with the learnings during our career, and I think that makes an interesting learning for the students.
That's amazingly said, sir. And I think I would totally agree that once an achiever is always an achiever. So that not only puts a pressure, but puts you in the place of responsibility that you have to carry on with that legacy of yours. Amazing, sir.
And we enjoy it.
Now, Partha sir, about you, what we have read so far is that you're an inventor yourself. You hold patents in service products, AI and ML. And then how come, like, from Northwestern University when you graduated and then you moved to HSBC Bank and then now you're here at GIBS as a research faculty? So what was that journey for you? How did your transition from corporate to education happen?
Okay, so this is an interesting question, and probably I am starting my answer like this. When I started the first journey of my life, of that kind of experiencing, that I started with that factories. So there I started implementing my mechanical or graduation kind of background. But within 4 years, I found that somewhere I am missing the tune. I did not understand that time what was the tune I was missing, but I was missing, that I felt that one. And then I got the scope to change the setup or domain from that manufacturing from that point to investment banking. Then I got the scope of HSBC. So I joined there. After rigorous process, I joined there. Then I found that during the process of my work, whatever the Six Sigma process when I was doing that one, then I found that the statistical process and numbers are very important there. Now that was fascinating, and probably that is a life-changing point of my entire experience. So maybe that 18-20 years experience, not like other faculties, or they are already done with the 30 years. But for me, there I've started my analytical journey, and around 2011, 2012, then I found that a little bit I have another tune within me. So that was like the entrepreneurial kind of a consulting, so self kind of achieving something. Probably when you started with that inventor or kind of making something new, so that was started that time. And being fortunate that time in India, that kind of, because the HSBC again from that it was ruled by that, so I was in the APAC side, Asia Pacific. So there also that analytical and AI kind of things were matured. Then in India that time it was not. Then I started finding that if I get any scope to use my analytical mind for any Western kind of innovation. So one person I luckily found, and it was connected during my HSBC time, and he's now in that good kind of, that engine of the SpaceX. So that person tried to bring me into one algorithmic or AI kind of approach in the investment. And that was started the journey. And AI started that time, it was in 2011, 2012, even AI, these things, technology was very less in comparison to that one. Then around 2015, 2016, I found that this is quite good. So I was a little bit tuned with an analytical and AI side. Then it was good opportunity again for me. One of my friends, he was in Bengal, West Bengal, that is one government. He was deputed there. So he called me that some of the requirements are there that we want to put AI into our education system there. So that time it was even 2017, 2018. So it was immature time. Then we started one kind of making chatbot kind of AI based. So it was quite good for them because some of the students who were below the poverty level in Bengal, they could get the opportunity to interact through that AI process. Now that was the starting point, and probably the technology and AI and these things of being mingled with my entire journey. And suddenly when I got the opportunity to find that, okay, in Bangalore, probably few institutes are there. So IIM Bangalore, it's quite prominent when I talked with them for few reasons. And then I found that few other institutes are there, but I did not know that one, the GIBS, that IRE is there. But that was probably the luck or something opportunity I can say at this moment. So third opportunity in my life, that when I was sitting down with the MD sir, then he was telling about there is one setup here, so 2 professors are there. But if you can bring the research, because you are doing the technical side of the research or that entrepreneurship journey, then why don't you can bring that kind of value to the students? It was great opportunity for me. And there I joined, and I found that exactly the 3 points, I am now connecting the 2 points, that I and E. So probably that 2 points we are now joining. Yeah.
That's perfect, sir. I think, coming from such a diverse background, corporate, AI, ML, academia, and all of this all together, what was your first impressions? If each one of you can, highlight on that, point wherein you first heard of IRE, whether in a discussion or you came across on the website? What was that first impression you thought IRE would be, and then what it turned out to be? We'll start with you, Hari sir.
I think this, of course, I'm the out of the three, I am there in the IRE program from inception.
Yes.
I think it was the brainchild of the managing director Ritesh Goel, and I used to be in the capacity of a director here, and it came out of a very, very private conversation with very successful entrepreneur, and then he brought out this thought of why not teach entrepreneurship. It all started with entrepreneurship. And mind you, entrepreneurship courses were there all over. And during the course of this discussions, not just on one day, the further discussions led to a situation where a research-based entrepreneurship should be there. And then again, we also thought about innovations. So I was there from day one, from the seed of this course has come. I mean, I must give full credit to the leadership and the family, which actually thought about this innovative concept of IRE and embedding it in the PGDM program. So we developed curriculums and we had faculties, and I am part of this journey for the last few years. This course is there, but I think it's also an evolving discipline. While BG sir and all have brought so much of value with their experience and their technical knowledge of Partha sir, every year the curriculum gets refreshed, redefined, and when you say this year you are going to take up innovation as a faculty or a resource person, I think we go back to the drawing board and again think what should be the new things that we need to learn.
Wow.
and actually deliver in the classroom. I think this journey of IRE has been a learning experience for all of us from day one. Thankfully for me, I have been there from day one, and thankfully for the IRE program, these two gentlemen have come at the right time, and they have enriched this program going forward.
What about you, Partha sir? So how was your first impression of IRE when you were discussing with MD sir, or when maybe you researched about it, that what does it stand for? So how was your first impression?
So when I started here, absolutely before that, one particular research I did, being research, obviously I did the research. So in India, especially when I have that particular background of US master degree there, so I found that there is big gap in India education, especially in the management, where they are going with mostly in that classroom kind of setup. And my first impression was that when MD sir was telling about that day the IRE is something new, it would be kind of, even MD sir's background also, I am Bangalore, so I can attach that when his background is there in I am Bangalore, so somehow these things are well kind of set up would be there. Now that point of view, I found that particular research, that how this setup is more important from that not classroom point of view, from the action point of view. Now if you read the story of Eric, so that's one book was there, it's a kind of, he was very much attached with that Apple kind of setup, so Steve Jobs kind of setup. So that setup was absolutely successful in US kind of, so that BMC kind of or Canvas kind of approach he started with. So this, I was in predefined, pre-concept kind of mind was there, probably this would be something, it would be there. It is something different from the classroom setup, more into the action point of view. So it's not about the learning, but learning through actions or doing. So probably that was my setup. And when I found that first day, absolutely talking with that other professors, and I must thank to Hari sir, BG sir, that sometimes during the classroom or after the one class to another class, we go for one strategic kind of meeting, just like in the sports also you find that one, huddle kind of thing. So we are team huddle. So this thing is that, and what will be the next week? So sometimes we go for that. Special. It is something different from others. I don't find that it is very common. Yeah.
What about you, BG sir?
Yeah, that huddle part is interesting. Before I start my part, I will share with you the last part of my career. I quit AMCO some 4 or 5 years before my superannuation and joined a team of people who are like-minded and who were running a company called Bumblebee Leadership Academy. I am part of it even now, and that is still my strength in entrepreneurship. I always used to wonder if we had been given this kind of education like the IRE, the one we have for our PGDM, we would have made it long before when actually we had started. Probably 2 decades back I should have done this. But we didn't have that kind of education or the luxury of getting to know so much about what all these are about. And there are many institutions that run entrepreneurship program. It is compartmentalized. It is not integrated with two other essential components like innovation and research. Because people come up with ideas and start something and fail drastically because it is not deep rooted into research and data, which is very important. And again, entrepreneurial mindset, it is not an idea that will make any business successful. Having entrepreneurial mindset where you can rise every time you fall, build that resilience in you, all these are important, which is what IRE program is trying to do. And when Mr. Ritesh talked to me about this, probably that was the thought that was occurring to me. Being a part of it, where I can share not only my experience that I had gained over the years in different industries like steel, cement, atomic research, banknote printing, or machinery manufacturing, or automobile. I also have a stint of entrepreneurship where we had struggled to establish it and take it to big companies like Saint-Gobain or TBS Delphi or MRF like companies where we could take our programs to. But this program would give that leverage or advantage. Ritesh always says it is better to leverage on your strengths rather than averaging your weaknesses and strengths. And that is what IRE is doing, because we are not forcing them to do only this. Take up your idea, take up a problem and solve that, work on it, rather than we pushing you to do something where we are trying to average things. They leverage on what they are good at, and we are only helping them with the tools and ammunition that where they can take up the idea forward and make it into things are just the thoughts. Today what they have as thinking may become things tomorrow. That's what we are looking at, probably prototyping when we have at the final IRE conference. That would be really, I don't know, we'll have goosebumps. Wow. Yeah.
That's amazing. And I think even coming from this young generation, I can totally relate to all the three inputs that I've received here. Because India, being one of the youth-centered countries wherein startup culture is now booming, I think it is very important to have that kind of guidance to not only have an idea, but how to evaluate it, how to work upon it, and how to bring it to reality. So, it's like a failure-proof setup that IRE provides. But again, when it comes to Indian parents especially, startups are still something which they fear a lot. That what if you fail? And that support does not occur very often, or in most of the cases. So as corporate leaders, all the three of you with decades of experience altogether, how do you think programs like IRE, they impact the careers of these students who are pursuing business studies, and how do they go from just graduates to leaders and future business leaders? So what impact do you think it has?
Yeah, I think the first difference is IRE program of good 1 year does to students is their mindset will get tuned to an entrepreneurial mindset to start with. I'm not even limiting only to entrepreneurial mindset. The innovative thinking, research-based working. See, when you look at all the three independent disciplines, all these three disciplines are going to be what you call ammunition that will help them, even if they choose to be a normal employee in a company. So
Yes.
what are we trying to imbibe in them? A very, very innovative thinking, which will be good for them if they become HR managers or a marketing managers or an entrepreneur. A research-based decision making is always much better than a shot in the dark.
Yes.
So we are giving all those inputs that a good research decision is much better than what you call a shot in the dark. And then the entrepreneurial what you call examples and the principles that good entrepreneurs and success stories of entrepreneurs, failures of entrepreneurs are all brought into the classroom. They themselves experiment as prototype developer, proof of concept developers, and then see how this concept is getting accepted or not accepted. And failures are again a good, what you call, learning the steps for them. So all this you are providing in 1 year, and when they come out of this experience of 1 year, they are much better equipped than a normal MBA or a PhD. I think that's the differentiating factor that IRE program, a PGP IRE program is bringing to the PGDM students in GIBS.
Yeah, I would add to that probably, because what do corporates look for today?
Leadership, entrepreneurial mindset, creativity.
It's much beyond normal work, because gone are the days when people will go clock in at a particular time and clock out, and with seniority the guys in the career get promotion and rise to the higher levels. Like Parkinson's law, they say, everyone rises to the level of inefficiency or incompetence. But today it is a competitive world, and the professional who walks into a corporate has to contribute. And what is the competitive advantage is what the people bring in. We always say people are the competitive advantage. Not all the people who have the entrepreneurial mindset, people who bring in new ideas, people who can take risk and try new ideas and get up every time they fall. These are the people the corporate looks for, who can give a competitive advantage. I think it is not about people becoming business people. At some point, I think these people may become business people, but our aim is to create corporate professionals who have this entrepreneurial mindset, take the game ahead for the corporate. Play a big game where corporates will make a big difference. I think our students are going to do that. That is where I think we are going to make a difference.
Yeah. If I think of in two ways, first that in India it's now Bharat 4.0 or India 4.0. So it's a big step that India is going forward. Probably it is the fourth nation. Probably it will be third nation through the GDP point of view. Now at this moment we cannot think of the 10 years back or 20 years back what we spent. So it's a kind of difference in job perspective, in the floor also when you would be working, that industry. If I take into the technological companies in India, you can think of that those companies are not looking into that employee who would be doing what you are being told. It's kind of what you are thinking, just like in the IRE that Vijay sir was telling, that particularly we are not pressurizing anything to you. It's about that your implicit that you are talking about, you are thinking about. So that is the point we are starting here. So here you can think yourself, you can think how you can act with that thinking. So probably that is the point. When you would be launched to the floor, then you can do it better. In India, probably I am taking that another example, that Samsung kind of thing. It's going into that kind of setup that you bring your own kind of idea and small product. So to me, as manager, I would be looking into, and that if it is good, then we'll go to the market. So I am not telling you to make it. You are making, and you are telling me that it is possible, and probably you are better than mine to think of that new innovation.
You said BOIP. Bring your own device, they say, BOIP. I think bring your own product, BOIP. I would say.
Absolutely. Yeah. And another point, probably second point I was telling about, that you told that one, that fall or failure free kind of approach. Now if you think of in today's companies, those are in the technical side also, it is very costly to go for or stake for any kind of product. Now if in US they have already started Airbnb and that Uber, so these companies that they are making this kind of approach, that like IRE that we are following the same kind of, that there we are teaching how to do the research. We are not telling you that you do that one, but how to do, how the cases are there, how they did already. So these things we are bringing to you, and by this process you can understand what is the uncertainty, what is the risk, and how you can mitigate that one. Well, that is the best part of the present companies. If all parents should be thinking like this, that their son or kind of daughter, they are learning the same way that now industry is looking into, so making the risk a little bit low.
Posed to him as well, that what do these big companies today look for when they go for hiring? And he had a very similar point, that they look for problem solvers and not problem creators or troublemakers. And that is where I think, as you said, if you have a solution, if you're solution oriented, if you can take research based decisions, if you're innovative, if you can just reach out to the market and you can tell them that this is what I have and this is how we can fill this particular gap, you're already halfway there. It doesn't matter whether you come from entrepreneurial background or employment or manager. You need that kind of people today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Having been on the other side of the academia, being in corporate and having been in corporate and being a part of campus hiring, and we have always looked for such people who can come up with new ideas, tested the idea. It is not about failure. They don't have to talk about success stories. But the thing is, have they tried something? Have they done something? These are the things our students can carry good stories about all this when they go to campus hiring.
That approach is kind of thing already there.
Because it is about experience, not about some theory mugged up and being shared in some place.
That actually brings me to my next question. I mean, I was very curious about this thing. Mainstream subjects, we have a very different approach to teaching it. It has to be theoretical, it has to be practical, assignment based. But when it comes to something so new as IRE school, is the teaching methodology also different from the mainstream subjects, and how does that work out?
So let me go first. So in innovation, of course, we try to innovate teaching methods also. We make people crawl on the grass and then how to catch the butterflies. From that level, throwing the ball into the dustbin. So everything is, of course, gamified is one, and then there are so many exercises of fast thinking and speed decision making and alternative search. Like we have exercises like, okay, I'll give you a Bisleri mineral water bottle. How many uses can this bottle be put to? Then within 5 minutes, they have to write some 70 uses, 80 uses.
Wow.
So you are actually in your classroom, you are making them think very, very wild, fast and quick and come out with alternatives. Mind you, the best decisions come when you have quantity of alternatives. So you'll be spoiled for choices which one to take. So in innovation, we try so many methods of exercises, what you call brain teasers. Apart from that, of course, there is a very, very serious innovation management, business innovation capsules that will make them write how the idea has come and what has been the source of this idea. You need to do some comparison study and all that. So there is an element of serious classroom teaching where examples of ideation is brought in innovation classes. In the same note, I think in research and entrepreneurship also, they bring in very, very innovative, novel ways of actually engagement. Here, the key in terms of classroom teaching is engagement. While normal, I also teach marketing management and consumer behavior. I'm not sure in a 90-minute session how many minutes the reception is there. But I can assure you, in a 90-minute session of an innovation class, at least 70-80% of the students are tuned to the session and to the topic that's going on completely. That is what you call the newness that this particular teaching methods bring to this particular course.
I think you said it right. Because in academic teaching, we go from concepts and then examples, cases, and then probably some application. Here we flip the whole thing. It is action learning here. They do something and then bring the concept by themselves. It is a discovery learning. Supposing we put them to some activity, we can talk about forming, storming, norming, performing as a theory. But the thing is, we don't do that. Here we put them to some action. They storm. They start putting norms for the group. Then they realize that, no, we are not working well. What is not going well? Why are we not becoming a team? Then performance starts once they know that these are the DICE functionalities in our team. Probably there is lack of trust or there is somebody's dominance. All this they realize through their actions that we bring them through the reflection questions rather than putting that structure. Yes, this is the way you will form the team, which will not work. So that autonomy of doing things in IRE makes things happen. And action learning is one of the best ways where they bring we bring the concept later after they themselves find that this is what is working for us. So that works, and probably
the other part, Palak, what is a differentiator here in IRE is I think the entire module of nine months or 10 months of learning in trimesters, they work as one group, and then a group of 6 people they work. So our entire education system till undergraduation is all about individual learning.
Me, myself,
what I learn and what I present on the paper. Here it's not like that. They will have their first-hand experience of what they are going to have in the corporates, work in teams and develop something. So what we call it as collaborative creativity or collaborative entrepreneurship. See, all these things come into play and they have the first-hand experience of working with people coming from, you have teams of students who are, one is from Odisha, one is from Tamil Nadu, one is from Punjab. So all those diversities also come into play here, and that's what is a different approach that we have in terms of teaching. So
I mean, from individualistic to
from individualistic to group learning. Group
Wow.
learning is something which is
We have also broken that stereotyped A section, B section, C section. We were working that way initially, but we have, each of us have our own expertise. I have worked in manufacturing all along, so I can take up physical product groups, whereas Sari sir is all along been in marketing. So there are people who are taking services. Services is more about marketing the services. So Hari sir is leading those groups, and the technology professor, tech groups, because we have many people coming up with app and applications and softwares. So he is leading. So rather than sticking to the sections, we have regrouped them as product groups, services group, and technology groups. Now we are able to guide them also in an what do you call more.
one takes what is our sort of core competence and then sort of parent them. Marketing, I do. Technology, he's the boss. And manufacturing products and all that, he guides them. So all in all, I think we are trying to give the best what we can offer to them as mentors.
In fact, the grouping process is also very innovative here in the IRE. So just had told that Hari said. So we started with probably the small group that is mixed with the different states, the people are there. And suddenly when Bijay sir is telling, now based on the need, we are changing our group style. Something for the tech side, the people who are looking for the tech side, who are looking for the service kind of side, or who are looking for the product to make kind of physical kind of product, then sir is making the different group. So the grouping we also change based on the need from one term to another term.
Yeah.
And if I'm talking about the research part, so it started with when I started here. So first two things it was very difficult for me. The first one that the research itself is kind of boring thing.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a boring thing. Now in the particular this classroom, the two things would be very difficult to me. One, that first how that research could be different from that academic research to that particular entrepreneur research. Something research is different. Now, if I consider that research or that technology kind of product development companies, they usually do the research kind of documentation process. So usually we do. So this is very good input to them also. When you ask that previous question, that is also part of that answer, that these people are actually learning that process, how to document the thing. If you cannot document, then probably your senior manager will catch hold you that how did you do that one, how did you solve that problem. But that documentation would be needed. So that is part of the research we are doing here, that how to document that one, how to write this one, what is the structure that you can bring. So that research was the first struggling point me, whether it is an academic thing already in the mind of someone, so they would be feel more bored. Oh, this is academic research again, this thing. So there is something different. And second point that I was talking about is a kind of case. So first when I started here, I found that whether I should go with multiple cases, just like usually if you go to the Bangalore or other big top institutes, they usually go with multiple cases in one single term. You can learn so many things. It's a positive, obviously, but that was my question to myself, that whether I should go with multiple cases or with a single case. Then I found that that kind of approach should be for the IRE. We should go with one single case. We can go in depth. We can go more of the root analysis, how we can make that problem to be solved, how one particular startup or one business, they are solving from the starting point to enter. So entire journey they could understand. So this is probably that innovation, or you just can understand that what is the difference here, or what the specialty we are bringing into the classroom.
Listening to all the three of you, coming from the student background as well, in the recent, even I was a part of IRE School recently. So this is something which as a student definitely helps. Because as sir said, we get into that form of learning, at the same time enjoying. So we don't see Fridays as a stress day. It's more a fun day, that, okay, first half we have innovation, second half we have entrepreneurship, we have research. And again, how the module for research works. As a professor, it would have been definitely challenging for you. But coming on to this side of the seat, it's definitely more interesting for us to understand how things have worked, getting to that hair root of everything, where it started, how it went on, how these people are doing it. And somewhere down the line, I think as youngsters, it inspires us. So there might be, as I previously said, there might be a conflict in my head that whether or not entrepreneurship is something I want to take up, whether or not I am a good leader, can I work with multiple teams, and all of these myths that I have in my own head, the barriers that I create, that just disappear because of the practice that we get in IRE school. But the ideas that we come up in IRE school, I mean, ideas are universal. It can happen anywhere, anytime to anyone. But are they scalable? Can the students take it up in real time? Do they pitch the investors? Does IRE school also have that kind of module where they functionally empower the students to go and take it up real time?
I think Professor Hari is the best person to talk about it, but still, I would add a bit before you start, sir. Please. Taste of the pudding is in eating. Yeah, so we should see things happening rather than talking things imaginatively. One is being a resident of Akshaya Nagar. I'm a frequenter to mud cups. Wow, yes. I was not part of IRE at that point of time, but still, whenever I walk in, I'm kind of proud about an alum of GIBS running that mud cups. I think there are quite a few examples if Hari sir can add.
Yeah, I think one or two examples I always there's a brownie.
Brownie boys, yes.
Boys who's doing extremely well, and then the brownies are selling like hotcakes.
Yes.
And then there's a supply chain company started by one of the 2019-21 batch student who are also doing very well. Now I believe he moved into courier service also. Very, very innovative operation style that we have developed. Apart from that, we have other edtech platform starters. So leave alone these 4-5 examples. I think one of the best high point of IRE program has been last year when we had this IRE Convocation Day, and the best of the entrepreneurs who are successful and made a mark for themselves in Shark Tank and all, the Yan Bazaar owners and all have come, and they were witness to the final pitches made by the top finalist IRE teams, and they were in awe of the entire work that they have done. And I remember 2 or 3 people who are into equity funding and all. They said, the moment you complete the course, you please come to us, and then, of course, I'm sure the students have their
priorities. Yes.
So what I see is a green shoot, tremendous enthusiasm, and as we go through this academic year and the number of batches who are coming out with those ideas, as BG sir has told, we have 30 groups, and we have ideas which are into the area of NGOs. We have ideas which are actually covering technology, excellent app aggregators.
Wow.
You have so many diverse ideas that are coming up, and I'm sure when we have this convocation and the culmination day, you will find funding people coming up and queuing up for sure. That's
we are also really looking forward to an exciting day when it is culminating in an IRE conference, because many of the ideas are out of the normal things. For instance, bamboo woven cloth, or
the other one.
Maybe we should not leak out their ideas at this stage. Probably.
We should not keep suspense.
So many things.
That's amazing to hear how these, programs like IRE, BMP, one that we have here, these, they're inquisitive to the students. They build that mindset of them to get into a process of starting something and seeing it through the end. It's not just about starting. And I think IRE does that very well, that you start at the root and you take it up till real time. You can reach out to investors, you can pitch it to them. You're just ready for the market. So now, if, coming towards the end of this entire discussion, there is this one myth that I would really want all the 3 of you to bust for our all viewers, our students, and everyone, the entire GIBS fraternity, that IRE is only for people who are taking up entrepreneurship. So does that stand true? And if not, then what is it? Like, if it has to be sentenced in one phrase, what would that phrase be?
I'll go first. The myth, as you rightly said, is IRE program is only for entrepreneurs who want to enter. No, not really. A good HR manager needs to be innovative, research-based working has to be there, and he needs to have those what you call proprietary interests in the manpower that he handles. The marketing manager needs to have those innovations coming into play every now and then, and he needs to have belief in market research, and he needs to have that entrepreneurial mindset to actually take those ideas and then present it to the market
Correct.
distribution and all that. So, in a nutshell, if I have to say, these three disciplines are not just only for people who want to start business. They are for professionals. They are life skills, and then that will help them to really tread through their career path. I mean, mind you, there are people who take the corporate career for 1 decade or 2 years, 2 decades, and then they would like to turn into entrepreneurs. And then this learnings here in IRE program and the work experience that they get in the corporates will come in very, very handy when they become entrepreneurs at the age of 40, 45, which we could do. It will definitely help them very well. And if I have to put in IRE in one sentence, I think the PGDM program of GIBS itself is a horse which is running, and IRE actually gives wings, and the horse with wings is a unicorn.
Unicorn, yes. Perfectly said, sir. Partha, sir.
In a precise way, India 3.0 to India Bharat 4.0. So India 3.0 produced many managers, but Bharat 4.0 needs more leaders. And IRE is the best platform to bring those leaders.
Very well said, sir. I think that's precisely what that entire program is. BG, sir.
Yeah, you have put a cap to our conversation by asking this question. Otherwise, we would go on and on and on, because IRE is something we all breathe. Maybe I would recall some article I read by Mr. Ravi Venkatesan, a leading corporate leader, who said it is riskier to be in the job than to be an entrepreneur. Now, I think the days are coming. And also Andy Grove, in his induction talk, he says, in Intel founder chairman, he says, you are all in business with the corporate, with my organization. None of you are in employment. And as long as we have that value creation for each other, then we will be there together. Business is all about that. I think, having said that, I would say, to put in a nutshell or in a sentence, I would say that if you are seeing a micro business revolution happening around, you can be rest assured the seeds, hundreds of seeds, are being sown here.
Perfect. I think, yes, that is the wow moment of this entire discussion that we have had. That today, one thing, my major takeaways from what I've heard, one is that today, when it comes to recruitment, hiring, it's not employees that they're looking for, it is leaders, people who can create value, people who can deliver value. And secondly, as BG sir correctly said, that this is where micro revolution starts. So if you're moving towards entrepreneurship, leadership, it's not necessarily you're a business person, it is that you're a leader, an entrepreneur rather. And with the changing times, with the changing technologies, AI coming into picture, and so much more happening around you, that is where Bharat 4.0 needs people who can lead and not people who can follow. So I think that wraps it up, what IRE School is, what the outcomes are, what the goals are, what the purposes are. And with that, I think we have cleared a lot of confusions, a lot of clouds that were, around the entire concept of IRE School. Thank you so much to all our viewers for watching with us, and thank you so much to all the three professors, our fire team, and I think that's the right term that we have used here. So this has been an amazing discussion. And yes, now this was the IRE School from the perspective of the owners themselves. Now, we also have an episode from the students' POV for much more clarity of what goes on into the classrooms and what is the curriculum about, how the journey happens. So stay tuned for that episode. To get in touch with us, the IRE Talks team, and for any other suggestions, feedbacks, recommendations, please do reach out to us on any of our social medias that you can find: LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Instagram, YouTube itself. And I'm Palak Bansal signing off. This is IRE Talks Podcast, where innovation meets inspiration.